I think we gave up 42 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
So,
that's
when CJ's talking about, oh, the Thunder have great defense, they're playing with effort every night. It doesn't matter any guy. That's what I want to see from my team. And honestly, I don't think the Lakers have that. So that's why we're not going to the
yeah.
finals. The transfer portal is dangerous, bro. Like, I don't know what
Hmm.
to say. Like, I feel like it's something that people can kind of like take advantage of. Like, I don't know if people are using it right.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I understand if it's like you're on a small team and you cooked, and obviously your
Yeah, you want to go to
opportunities.
D1.
You're right. You want to go to like a Power Five
Sorry, a high
conference.
major. High
Yeah,
major, yeah, yeah.
but like the people that are just like bouncing from, oh shit, I lost. I'm at UConn now. I'm gonna go to Duke next season. Like that's I don't really like that, but I mean it sucks, but it's a part of the game now.
For
So
those who don't know, to me, he reminds me of like this is gonna be a name. You're gonna get lit for this one. Andre Karolinko. Just
wow.
the way that he plays, for those that don't know, AK-47 was a demon.
Mm-hmm.
Like
He's a dog, bro.
he would dunk on people, man. Passing lanes. Like he was. Yeah, that's another player too. Where if you looked at him, you wouldn't really think he's somebody. He's somebody. What's
He's
going on, everybody? It's your boys over here at Three Man Weave. I'm the lovely co-host ZD, and I'm with the lovely other co-host CJ. How you feeling today, my boy?
good, bro. Just
Yeah, Sweet
chopping it.
16.
Sweet 16. Close game from the Thunder last night.
Oh man, yeah, we'll
But
get into that.
yeah,
My game was not close, and we'll talk about that too, cause man, but they play the Magic tonight. The Lakers do. I'm excited to chop it up because we have a good one today, bro. We're gonna talk about the rookies, I think. So it'll be cool at the end, and
hmm
I know people are excited for that. But yeah, you had a really a barn burner yesterday. I would say. Would you like to get into that, my good sir?
yeah, bro. So we went against the Clippers last night at crypto or not crypto Intuit Dome. Sorry.
Good.
Um,
Now you good?
and we were talking about it right before we started, man. I think I kind of as the season progressed, I could see that the Clippers were a solid team, but the way that they're playing right now, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with in the West. I
Oh
feel,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean. They can
They play
definitely have
defense like they did. Yeah,
if they're playing like how they played yesterday. Kawhi Leonard, I feel like that's someone that we've probably like. It's hard. It's kind of easy to forget someone that hasn't been playing as much, but the player that we know that he can be is definitely something come playoff time that a lot of teams are probably gonna have to
you
worry
think?
about. And then of course Harden and the
Yes,
way that
indeed.
Zubac has been playing all season, I've been super impressed with him. I've been betting on him a lot. He's honestly been probably my like wagon. You know what I mean? Like someone I could bet on, and it's like a guarantee, damn near. But no, it was a great game, man. It was 103-101. We were talking about it right before we started. Shea had a really bad game, and I said it's probably the worst game of the season in my eyes. He, like you say, he was 7 for 29 from the field. He was 11-11 from the free throw lines. He ended with 26, but I think it's just he was forcing up a lot of shots, and the Clippers were just playing good defense. But I told you in the past podcast, I'm living and dying by Shea's play this year, and
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
completely comfortable. Obviously, it was a very close game, so if he did have efficient wise the game, like the type of games he's been having all year, it probably would have been a different game. But it's not the way it played out, and kind of going into really the last 2 minutes of the game, um, Ty Lue challenged to play. It was Zubac. I think he fouled Case and Wallace, or it looked like he fouled Case and Wallace when it was really Harden that like pushed him into like Zubac essentially. And so Tyron called a timeout to challenge it. They were down to one timeout.
Okay.
That it was a successful challenge, but they took away his timeout. So I
I'm
was a
not
little
saying
confused. I was a little confused by that. Maybe it's something in the rules that in there.
we
Obviously,
don't.
that I don't
Well,
really know.
if they win the challenge, like I think they're supposed to get their timeouts back. But yeah, I don't know if it's something we don't know
Yeah,
because that was
it was
sketchy.
It was sketch, yeah. So Clippers had Clippers had one timeout. I think we get up by it was like 100 to like 90 or like the it was like a two possession game. So Ty Lue calls a timeout with the one timeout, not realizing it, I'd assume. And it was still like a minute 30 into the game, and he has no timeouts left. So it kind of puts, for everyone, for the audience and stuff, kind of explaining the whole what was going on. When you don't have timeouts with a minute 30 left in the game, and it was such a close game, it kind of forces you to have to play fast because you don't really have the possession, the time to be able to like run a lot of sets and stuff. Like you're getting the ball off of a rebound and probably pushing it up the court, just trying to see what you can get. So I think that definitely was a factor into this game. But I was just really impressed with the our defense. Honestly, I feel like that was something that I told you like literally right before we started. I like watching these close games right now, especially that this time of year, but even any time of year, just to kind of see what the team is made of. Because it's all fine and dandy when your team is winning throughout the whole game and it's not a close game and you're kind of just garbage time. It might get a little closer, but like whenever it's these type of situations, this is where you see like championship caliber teams. And I think, we've kind of shown that we are that type of team, but last night kind of proved it even more to me because it's just the way that we can defend. I think Caruso was guarding Kawhi the whole time and he was doing a fantastic job. I think that is the reason why we got Caruso, because he has the ability to guard really like 1 through 4, especially the way the game is now. A lot of the power forwards are like big small forwards essentially,
Right.
so
Yeah.
he's able to
Big guard.
guard all those positions at a high level, and he knocked down like a big three in the game. So I think he's gonna be a huge deciding factor and a huge like X factor for us come playoff time, and that's why we got him. But he played great defense on him, and I think Kawhi had the last shot to potentially win or tie the game, and it didn't fall, so we were able to grab that rebound and seal this game. But bro, it was great, man. Like I said, I like watching these close games right now for me because it's like the playoff atmosphere, and these are how more than likely the playoffs is going to be, because
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
the Clippers started off the game super hot. They scored 34 in the first quarter, so we were pretty much playing catch up the whole time. And it when you have like the resilience on the road to be able to do stuff like that, I think, like I said, that's when you can see what a team is really made of and see if they're ready for the
Makes sense.
playoffs. So it was a great game, man.
Yeah.
Though, like I said, the only thing that was a little sus for me was that, and the Shea foul. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about it.
Right. Yeah.
Shea definitely fouled Zubac whenever he was trying to get that. I think when he was trying to go up to lay it
Yeah. It
up,
was on a shot.
it was on a
Yeah.
shot. Yeah. So but we were kind of talking about that. He does get away with a lot of stuff
With
and
some calls.
some calls, but I think that's I hate to say it, but
Part
I
of
think that,
being.
yeah,
Yeah.
part of being like a superstar in this league, like
Sure.
you'll get those whistles for you, and you potentially won't get them against you. So, but yeah, no, it was a great
Yeah.
game, bro. I can't complain. Like I said, that was probably Shea's worst game of the season, but the fact that we are still able
Yeah.
to, we didn't have J Dub, we didn't have Chet, so I think that's something that we also gotta remember about that game.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I was
So
seeing like I was seeing people say that like, oh well, we only lost by 2. We could beat the Thunder in a playoff series. I'm like, all right, man, I wouldn't. You have a little too much dip on your chip if you're talking like that, because we weren't even healthy and we were still able to get it done. Yeah, it was close, but this is Shea's worst game of the season, like I said, and it was not even a
it's
fully
okay.
healthy team. So we were still able to get a win, and that's all that matters to me, bro. So like we
Yeah.
clinched the number 1 seed for the West. Now we're just kind of waiting to see where the cards get dealt now, to see where this playoff seeding is.
And the Sixers pick, right?
And the Sixers pick, bro. And the Sixers pick.
Oh man, let me come in. Yeah, I think yeah. So for people who don't know, Kawhi Leonard, 25-10, the man is here. Like I think you said that was the first thing that you said. So I just wanted to start it off with that. I think people have forgotten about Kawhi Leonard, and to an extent, I think that's a bit disrespectful.
Very much so.
But yeah, yeah, very much so. And I think yesterday. I think CJ. I think when those guys are out, I will say this: when J Dub and Chet were out, the void of the defense I could feel a little
Hmm.
bit. Even though they are restricting still, the Clippers only put up 101 points. I'm not gonna lie to you, the Clippers don't have that great of an offense. I think if man, if the Thunder were going up against, a C's, a little bit of a higher
Right.
powered team, right, this would have been a different story. But obviously, whenever the Clippers are struggling like that, it kind of gives you an idea of like, man, okay, the Thunder are the real deal. They're the real deal. But I
Right.
could still see like the void of not having Chet Holmgren obviously holding down the paint. I don't think Zubac would have, been as impactful as he would obviously if Chet was there.
Yeah.
So I think the Clippers are underrated. I'm not. I think the Thunder have been glazed on. Shea obviously gets a ton of love, and we all want to see that. I think to your point, you're just waiting to see what it looks like in the playoffs. But yeah, this game, I'm sure was interesting for you. It's funny you brought up that you like watching the close games as opposed to the ones obviously that are the blowouts. That to me that makes sense, but for the audience, it's like why? They score
Yeah.
150 points or whatever, but it's like the competitiveness of like a close game is a lot different. But yeah, to your point, I think Shea really struggled. He was just kind of forcing it. I think Caruso played great too. I had that in my notes, but yeah, I think the Clippers have been kind of slept on. But yeah, going into my game, I think it was two or the day before the Sunday game that TJ was just talking about. Yeah, we played the Bulls, man, and hey, we got mollywopped. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
so. Where do I start? Let's start with Josh Giddey. I think I want to bring him up. I watched him this entire game, and I was even gonna ask you because he's kind of a previous Thunder guy. Like, you think he can hoop?
I think he can hoop, bro. Like
I think so too.
I never doubted that. It's just his like shot that I was like very
Right,
skeptical
right,
about because they would just
right.
sag off of him in the playoffs, which like that's the only thing with his game that I'm but he's actually knocking it down at a high clip this year. I think it's like
Yeah. He almost had a
38.
quadruple double, man,
I
with
saw that
steals.
in
He was
steals.
all over the place. It was something I haven't really seen before.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was like I was like, what is this?
Hmm.
But he was playing lovely. He was, again, like you were saying, I think people kind of forget what he can really do. I think he's kind of a special player. The way that he rebounds, he can pass. I think his passing is probably the best thing about his game. He
100%.
just gets other teammates involved, and then
Damn, he has 17
Kobe,
assists.
bro. I'm telling you, every single damn time. To this other guy, Kobe White, bro, who's been killing
Fuck
it the
it.
last few
Fuck
weeks.
it.
I was gonna talk to you. We caught the Bulls at a bad time because they're hooping
They're
right
hooping.
now, and so genuinely, we had everybody healthy. This I was talking shit about the Cavs last pod, saying, "Oh, you can't really lose with all your, this late in the season, whatever." We get everybody back. Bronze in there. I think Luca was 7 of 10 from deep in the first half, bro. He was playing amazing, right? I think
Hmm.
this is. He look. I was gonna talk to you too, bro. He looks healthy. He looks.
Yeah.
He looks fine.
He looks
He looks
good.
really skinny. He looks in shape. He looks in shape. Like I do not know what the Mavericks were thinking, but that's besides the point. He comes out cooking in the first half, so I'm like, okay, cool. Like cool. This is what we're doing, whatever. But like I said before, our entire team was out there and we weren't able to put up a fight defensively. I don't know what it was. To me, this seemed like an effort game.
Hmm.
Um, I also noticed that there was a lot of again the bad body language and blaming others. It's just it's when Kobe White is shooting 12 of 17 from the field on you, it's tough because every single shot damn near going in. It's everybody's fault. It's not one person's fault, whatever. I think we were really scrambling, again, like it's not even like we got blitzed in the first quarter. It was 31-32 cuz Luka's hooping. Like
Yeah.
so I mind you guys, like I'm watching this game thinking it's going to kind of whatever. Later in the game, it just gets completely out of hand, And we're gonna talk about another dude too later in the pod, but yeah, I think Buzeli's is good. I think the Bulls have a solid roster, and if they get another piece, I think they're gonna be scary. But this was a really lackluster defensive game. We gave up 146 points to an offensive team that honestly, frankly, is in the bottom third tier of the NBA in scoring, and it's just unacceptable. I
Yeah.
really, that's what I put in my notes. I said it's unacceptable. I don't have anything positive really to say other than Luca was playing well. I mean, if we pull up the box, I think who else was playing well? Because I
Reeves
know Reeves was playing well. Yeah, Reeves was hooping. I think Reeves was hooping too, but he's been hooping all year.
all year. Yeah.
I've talked about him at length on this podcast, but yeah, he had another great game, and I'm honestly starting to get to the point where like
You're
20
are
for
you
him.
are you expecting
Yeah,
more now?
I'm like that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't be shocked if you're telling me he's got 20 tonight. Like
Right.
that's no longer like a oh wow.
Like
So
what?
yeah, for the audience who may not know, like that's pretty. He's been doing that all year. 3 of 7 from deep. Again we got up the threes. I think Luca was torching. We shot 41%.
Yeah. They shot
Right. So
46.
that's the thing. Our
Yeah.
defense was horrible,
Yeah.
horrible, bro. And what's been frustrating about it is like I've seen them play against the Nuggets and other like higher quality teams and give more effort.
Hmm.
And I think this was again when I say like a rest kind of BS game, I think that's what I mean is like, I don't want to say this is what the Lakers are, but right now that's what we are, and it was at home where we play the best basketball. I also want the audience to know that as well. The Bulls came into crypto like CJ alluded to earlier when he meant the Intuit Dome.
Yeah.
Bro, like
Yeah.
can't let it
Y-
happen. So,
Do do you think
super disappointed.
is it like they like underestimated him, you think? Or is it just like strictly an effort thing?
I think it's a mixture of both, and I just don't think you can do that in the NBA, especially with people who again who want to play. The Bulls aren't trying to tank. You
Hmm.
may think that, but I guarantee you the players on the court are not. The way that Kobe White was coming off, and it was like transition trays, bro. Like I'm not, like Kobe White is he's getting the rebound. Like I'm gonna show you. Like it's quick, bro. Quick,
Yeah.
bro. So like I'm thinking they're kind of going 5 seconds or less. They know how to slow down the pace as well. But whenever we started to slow down in the third and fourth quarter, that's really what ended up, it kind of put us away. I think we gave up 42 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
So,
that's
when CJ's talking about, oh, the Thunder have great defense, they're playing with effort every night. It doesn't matter any guy. That's what I want to see from my team. And honestly, I don't think the Lakers have that. So that's why we're not going to the finals. We heard it on when we were doing the playoff. I didn't even choose them to go because we don't have the depth or the structure to do that on a nightly basis. And I mean, it showed there. Like I think it showed. I think JJ was talking about it after the game. He was like, "Yeah, it's just embarrassing. Like it's just because you can't." Like again, Kobe White's somebody who's done that before. Josh Giddey's had triple doubles before. I think we were talking about him on the last podcast too. He's had
hmm
multiple in the same season. It's not like these guys are scrubs.
hmm
They're pretty fucking good. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, no. LeBron. I think I would say this yesterday about his effort. I think it wasn't 100%. I think that video that was posted on social was kind of like, oh, but during the game he looked a little bit tired too. He looked like he didn't have his legs under him, but I know that's not something that's like gonna show up in the stat sheet necessarily unless he has like a horrible game, and he didn't. But
Right.
it's just like that's kind of what happens. Like old man
Yeah.
coming off an injury, like LeBron's human, but he's still, as far as we know, indestructible. So
Right.
I'm not gonna speak on that, but that's kind of what I got to say. I don't have anything like positive to say really outside of Luca's performance. I think Austin Reeves was playing super well. We shot well from three, right? So there's a few things to take home, but giving up 150 points to the Chicago Bulls, I mean, that's pretty like self-explanatory if you know basketball. Like that's embarrassing for any team. It doesn't matter who you are, bro. So that's yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was about to say so.
I don't even. Yeah. I don't even know what to say. I was like super excited because again in the first quarter, I'm watching Luca step back, bro, three. So he comes down. I think he hit like 3, 4 triples in the first quarter because he had 7 in the first half, bro. So I'm watching. Like I'm trying to paint the picture for the audience. Like I said, we're down one. It's 31-32, whatever. Okay, cool. we go into the second quarter. I'm like, all right, Luca's still giving them the biz. Like, I'm like, cool, bro. Like, this is gonna be a good game. This is gonna be a good game because we still scored 31 points in that quarter. They scored 33, so at halftime, it's close, bro. Like, it. I was thinking in my head, I was like, man, like, hopefully we can beat these dudes. But second half, we come out flat. They score 40 points. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's I think it's because we don't have the roster, we don't have the depth, like I was talking about earlier, and we don't have the structure yet. Like our guys haven't played together long enough to really be bought in. And I think it's not like something that even really shows up in the stat sheet. Like if you look at the box, you'll be like, "Oh, okay." I think LeBron had like 19 points or something.
Yeah. 17-6-4.
17. Yeah, like and to me that's kind of like I was at 85%. Like I think Bron can give you the 25, 7, and 8. Like we had him on the first team all NBA team for the podcast. Like
Yeah.
so I think he's gonna get his legs under him, but I just think it was more about the Bulls, and that's what I had about my notes. Like I said, Kobe White, Buzelis, and then especially Josh Giddey with the triple double and almost quadruple double. We had so many turnovers as well. He had 8 steals, and like I said, he was all over the court. But that's the thing that I didn't know that he really had is like that defensive effort. But
Yeah,
I mean
I think
that's a
that
fluke. That's a fluke.
I was about to say that might be, yeah, like you said, a fluke or just something he's been working on since he went to the Bulls, because that was something on the Thunder that he was like a traffic cone. So,
Yeah, yeah, he's kind of a traffic cone.
but
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 like
he
I
is
think
a
it's kind of
bucket,
fluky.
bro. He's like one of those players that he doesn't look like he can hoop, but he can hoop. Like he has that like weird floater that he
And
always
he's
does.
slow. I'm
Yeah.
like, like Giddy's cooking us.
Yeah.
Like his pass, he had this one pass where he like I said, he like shot it. He like shot it like the one hand. I'm like, oh no, like Josh Giddey's kind of feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Yeah.
it's crazy, bro. But I mean the Bulls scored 146 points. I think that's all I have to say of that because I think Luca he kind of teased me a little bit, man. Like he was
He
playing the game of his life. I thought he was about to go for 60, and then like, I was turned, bro. I was like, yeah, like
Yeah.
Luca's hooping, and we were down too. I was just like, Luca's hooping though. Like we'll be all right. I think this is gonna be one of them games where he's gonna go for 60, but then they started doubling his shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it is what it is. But I think it's just tired legs, man. Tired legs. The Lakers have also played a ton of games recently,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I feel like y'all
it's
are playing like every day.
yeah. We didn't play last night, obviously, but
Yeah.
Saturday for sure. And then we played today. I think we played a Magic. I'm hoping we can get this win, bro. We didn't do that bad without LeBron. I think we went like 3-4, bro. But we're playing a Magic tonight. Hopefully we can get a W. I think their team is definitely a team we can take advantage of. It's not that they're necessarily a weak team. I think the Magic at full strength is not a team we can take advantage of. They have size, they have length, they have athleticism, they play good defense. It's not good for Luca and LeBron, but I think when the Magic are kind of a little bit unhealthy, no Jalen Suggs, right? It's going to be a little bit easier on Doncic, and he'll probably have a great game. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's 28
Yes,
twenty
sir.
five right now. Almost end of first,
Yeah.
so y'all are winning.
Who's? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not really. I'm not checking the scores while we're on this because I don't want to be too. I don't want to get too into it, man.
Right, right, right.
I'll be like, Lakers, no.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't watch it during the podcast, bro, for sure. But kind of going into the next thing, man, I wanted to bring up like, I was talking about some tired legs. I've been seeing some teams that have been tired, bro. Like a lot of teams, because we getting to the end of the season, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I feel
Yeah.
like guys are losing their legs. Like it's time where you're stretching, you're sore, you're on a back to back for no reason. You might have already clinched not a playoff spot, but like you're going to the playoffs pretty much. You're like, man, like I'm just going out there right now, low key. Like unless
Right.
it's like for seeding or something, I think guys are competitive enough to be like, man, I'm hooping today, I'm getting paid, but I feel like one of those teams is the Knicks. Like they're getting ran into the ground, man. They're getting ran into the ground. I think Jalen Brunson is actually hurt right now.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I
I think
did
he's
see
going to
that.
be reevaluated in like a week or something like that. But they've been struggling, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. We've talked about it on this podcast before, but Tom Thibodeau is kind of he's a demon. He's a demon. He has his ways. He likes to play the guys 40 minutes. He says, if the other team is going to play their superstar 35 minutes, you best believe my guys are out there for that same time. I think that's kind of what he's made his living off of. You know what I'm saying? Being that type of coach. And we'll see if that's going to hurt them down the line. I don't think it will. I don't think it will. But they are in a mix of like a little losing streak, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I think, what are they over their last, like, where
They're out of the last five, they're 2-3.
Yeah, so I mean, it's alright. So it's like sub five. It's like they're playing
They
sub 500 basketball and they're trying to be like contenders. And I think now that Jalen Brunson's hurt, I don't know if that's going to be. I think they're going to be not hurting for seeding, but they're looking at a little bit of an issue because I think they just recently they beat the Charlotte Hornets, right? So they've had a fairly easy schedule. I think it was like 115 to 98, right?
they lost to the Hornets. They just beat the Wizards. So
Oh
they
yeah, the
they
Wizards, the
they've had
Wizards.
a pretty easy schedule, to be honest.
And then, yeah,
And
nah,
and
nah.
they're
Okay, okay.
they've only won two
So they
because
had they had.
it was
Well, how much did they beat the Wizards by?
uh 19. So they
Oh,
kind of,
okay.
yeah, they went
They
crazy for
pissed
that
them.
one. But they
Okay.
got shitted on by the Hornets, lost by 15 to the Spurs, beat the Heat by a shit ton, and then lost to the Warriors
Oh,
by
the
3.
Heat are. That's funny you bring up the Heat. The Heat are in trouble, man.
Shambles,
Have
bro.
you seen those? Have you seen the stat about since I think the Warriors are like 17-4
Yeah.
or something astronomical, like since Jimmy Butler's came in, and like the Heat are just they've won like 5 or 6 games since then. Like
Yeah,
I
weren't
might
they
have to
just
go
on
back.
they were just on a 10-game losing streak, right?
Yeah, but Wiggins
Before
had dropped
prior to,
like 42.
yeah,
He dropped
yesterday.
like 40. Yeah, Wiggins had like 40. So I forgot who they played yesterday. I think
What
no.
was it, the Hornets?
Was it?
Let me see.
I just know Wiggins had
Yeah,
42
it
points.
was the Hornets.
Okay. Yeah, so the Hornets have been dropping games left and right. We've talked about them in the tankathon, but I think Andrew Wiggins was playing great.
Mhm.
I saw the highlights of that. I just forgot the team that they played, but it was like it seemed like he was like happy. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. But other than that, the Heat, the Heat are tired too, man. I think um, their season has kind of been put into a vacuum since Jimmy Butler left. It's kind of okay. We have to figure out what direction we're trying to go in. I think the Knicks, when we're talking about the Knicks, they're more of a contender in terms of their structure, the team that they have around. Even though Tom Thibodeau is running them into the ground, the Heat don't really have that guy. Like I think Tyler Hero is a guy for sure, and Bam Adebayo is good. They lost to the Pistons as well on that like Cade game winner
Vacate.
that I
Yep.
had seen. Yeah, it was like a few games ago, but it was tough. It was tough because I was like, man, like the Heat have not been good at all. And I was telling you, I was like, oh, they'll win in the play in. Like I don't know if they're gonna be like going to the finals this year from the plan, obviously, but like they're gonna win a game for sure. But like they're in bad form right now. I
Mhm.
don't I don't
Very.
think they're doing too hot. I feel like they're missing Jimmy Butler's services for sure because they need another scorer, and they just people can double Tyler Hero, and it's difficult for him to be you know effective whenever he's not like on fire. That's the problem with him is he can't really like get other people involved, and that's an
Mhm.
issue. So
Yeah.
the Heat are another struggling team that I wanted to talk about because I know it's Los's favorite squad, and they kind of suck, bro. Like he was telling me, he was like, bro, like I
They
remember
dropped
when the
10
Heat
in
and
a
the
row,
Lakers were
bro.
Yeah, no, for sure. But he was like, I remember when the Heat and the Lakers were like playing each other in the finals, and like now it's like nothing.
Yeah. How the
Yeah,
the tables have turned, huh?
yeah. It's being an NBA fan is it's. I mean, I felt it full spectrum, you
Me
know.
too.
So like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
100%.
with Luke could come in obviously, but yeah, whenever your team isn't doing too hot, especially at this stage in the season, like the reason I'm bringing it up is because at this time, like the Heat could drop out of the play-in. You know, like if they keep losing these games, I don't know if the East is like super.
No,
I wonder.
honestly, bro, I don't think so. I don't. Toronto, they're 6 games ahead of Toronto. That's how
So
bad the
Toronto
East
would have
is.
to win, bro.
Yeah, that's how bad the East is, though. That's crazy.
Where are the Hawks? Are they above the Heat?
The Hawks are 7th,
Okay.
so
So
it's looking.
it's Cavs. So can the Celtics catch the Cavs right now? I haven't looked at the standings
It's a
today.
f-
I
that's a
apologize.
5 game behind. Celtics are five
Okay.
games behind. So I think we talked about last time. Yeah, technically they could, but it would have to be like Celtics win out, and then the Cavs might have to lose out type of deal, or like
Okay.
lose
Okay.
majority of their games. But yeah, no,
Okay.
that blows my mind that they can go on a 10 game skid and still be in the play-in.
Yeah. That I well, it's just the it's, like you said, the East is really really bad. Yeah, I did not know that Toronto was 6 games back. I think Toronto recently win though?
I think so.
Yeah.
Nah,
So
nah, they've been on a 4 game skid right now.
oh gosh. Okay. Yeah, the East is so bad.
It's so
You know,
bad.
we haven't talked about Toronto in a while, but they're tanking as well. I think they're not doing well. But it's just all these Eastern Conference teams, man, they're kind of in shambles. You know, outside of the Mavericks, I think the Mavericks were what 2-9 over the last 11, or
Hmm.
like 2-8 or something like that. The Nets are also horrible. What
Yeah,
is it? Like what
they're
they've lost like 9 games in a row or something.
they beat the Hawks the other day, but they would have lost 7 if they lost that one.
Okay. I think the Mavericks are still in a playoff spot, right?
They are, yeah, they're 11th. They're tied with Phoenix right now.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you about that. Is there any way the Mavericks can make that play in? Like, or do you think Phoenix will get that last spot?
I think Phoenix is gonna get that last spot, bro.
I was gonna say because on the pod that we did, we talked about the Mavs, but I'm
We
like,
definitely did.
I think it's gonna be Phoenix.
Phoenix, yeah. I think if KD keeps playing at this level, yeah, I think they'll probably sneak in that last one, 10 spot.
They're not good. They're
Yeah, they're
not good
not.
either.
They're not.
They're not.
But neither
They're
are the
not good.
Mavs, so it's like,
Oh well. I will say this about the Mavericks: I think they've been hampered by their decisions by Nico, Harrison, and then some of the salary cap issues. What were you gonna say?
I was about to say, I think AD's making a return.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Don't know
I
why
don't know
either.
why.
Yeah. I think he
Yeah,
should just sit out
it's
the rest of the season, to be honest.
he could go for the playing spot. I get it, but like, bro, like I just think the Mavericks are doomed right now. And we've talked about it before on this podcast. We don't want to go through too much and be like, oh man, talk about like the bad teams, but the Mavericks especially, it's like they've felt every side of the spectrum is when it comes to being a part of the NBA. You have your superstar player get traded. All the guys that you got, they're hurt. Like nothing's going right. But yeah, we talked about them in the last podcast, like they were gonna be in the plan, and I don't think so. I think the Suns will be there, but the Suns are kind of on a little winning streak, I think, right now. So
Hmm.
they've been moving up, or they've been winning more games.
Yeah, they're on a 3 game win streak right now.
Yep, yep. So they've been, they're trying to get sneaky. I think
Yeah.
that last playing spot will be interesting. The last thing I was gonna say about this too, entire legs is some of these teams are actually gonna be playing for something the last day of the season. It
Hmm.
seems, especially in the West, but the Eastern Conference too. Even when we go to the bottom, it's not super close. But I think if the Cavs still are losing, I think the Celtics will make a push. they'll try to win out for sure and try to do something impossible. But yeah, I'm not really too sure about the plan for the East because it's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah, for
It's
sure,
gonna
man.
be those games are gonna be 65-60, bro. Like it's gonna be like 80s,
Yeah, just
like
straight '80s East Coast basketball
yeah,
and
bro,
shit.
for sure. Like the worst teams in the NBA, basically like it's like going at it for a playoff spot,
Dude,
you
that
know.
is a thing too in the East. Like I feel like every time I watch them play in the playoffs, their scores are like 90 to like 86 or some shit. I'm like,
I'm telling you,
what the
in
fuck?
the Eastern Conference teams, they don't have the best offenses in the NBA for sure. The West definitely has better offenses. Like you see the Thunder, the Lakers, the Nuggets, like even like the Warriors right now
Warriors,
too.
yeah.
Like yeah, like you see those teams first, and then you start to see like the Cavs and the Celtics for sure, but
Everywhere else it gets a little
it gets sticky, man.
yeah.
Like I think the Bucks are good, but man, the East is bad. Wow.
Bad,
Okay,
bad.
but that's besides the point. Those are some of the teams that have kind of been sucking. I think the only ones that are important really are like the Knicks, obviously. I think the Mavericks to an extent, and then the Heat as well. Like the Heat, they're not gonna lose a playoff spot, huh? Like they're
N-
good.
Yeah, they're pretty much good. I mean, unless Toronto just starts winning, going on a little win streak, but
Yeah,
yeah.
they don't have any incentive to win, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess the Heat are kind of irrelevant, but I didn't want to
Hey,
bring
for
that up. But
for the play that last playoff spot.
I guess I mean I think they don't mind the plan. It seems.
Yeah. Clearly.
Clearly, clearly. But I was gonna bring up something sweet, man. No pun intended. You want to talk about the Sweet 16? You see what Derek
Yeah.
Queen did yesterday, bro?
Yes, bro. It was crazy too,
Yeah.
cause I was talking about like all the players from Montverde that are like killing right now, and I brought him up
Oh,
obviously, and I was like, damn, cause I was watching it with Zay, and I was like, bro, like, he is cold. I was like, I think he's 25, right? Yeah, I was like number
is
25
he?
right there, or
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No. He is. He is.
he is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, his
I,
jersey.
yeah, I was like, bro, he is cold. I was like, and he's a
I
freshman
thought you meant
too.
his age, boy. I
Oh
was
no
like,
no no no
boy.
no
I
no
was
no no!
like,
Nah,
nah.
he's a freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just.
but I was like, yeah, bro, he's cold, and then he ends up hitting a game winner. I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
dog, bro. That was a really good game. There's been so many good games, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was gonna, I don't, what is it? The Duke and Arizona matchups also
Hmm.
lovely too. But I was just gonna ask if we could go through it real quick. I know you
Yeah,
probably have it
yeah, I
pulled
have it
up.
up real quick. So we have
Yeah, I know the Derek Queen game winner was cool. He was like, "Oh, they were like, where'd you get the confidence?" He's like, "Well, I'm from Baltimore, bro."
right,
This shit was hard. And
yeah,
the coach said he was like, "Give me the ball."
yeah. He's like, give me the MF ball. I was like, what? I was like, that's fire.
Facts. Like
He's
he
a
came
dog,
through
bro. But yeah,
for sure.
get into the Sweet 16 matchups. So like you said, we have Duke versus Arizona, and then on that same side of the bracket, BYU Alabama.
Yeah, yeah, that was the other one that's kind of going to be a banger. 4.5 spread, I think. Like that's a
Hmm.
close game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very.
that's going to be a banger.
So that was in the East. I'll go to the Midwest. Midwest
It was.
is Houston Purdue. That's gonna be a
Yeah,
banger.
yeah.
And then Kentucky Tennessee, which I feel like that's awesome. It's the top four seeds in that region, so that's gonna be some good basketball. I think that Houston Purdue game. I think Houston's gonna take that one,
Houston.
bro. Yeah, I like the way they play, bro. Kevin
Yeah, they're
Sampson,
dogs,
bro.
bro. Samson. Yeah, I was gonna say, bro, and like they have a defensive mentality in that city. Like they
Hmm.
like to guard. They don't shy away. I think I was gonna ask you like, how do you feel about Cooper Flag's tournament performance? Have you been able to watch him at all?
I
Maybe you haven't
watched.
even caught a game yet.
I didn't watch that first game because it was a blowout, and then I watched a little bit of that second game. But nah, I haven't really been able to sit down and analyze them. Have you been able to?
I got to watch him verse what was it against Baylor, and I
Ba-
wanted to talk to you about DJ. Because I
Yes.
remember I sent you that clip, and I don't know if you probably didn't see it, but like it was cool because like he was
They
talking
when
to
they were
him
in high
there.
school.
Yeah, but he was talking to him in high school, and like I just thought it was cool because like that's what the tournament's about. Like you kind of play teams you're not supposed to play. So like
Mm.
you get an opportunity, like Baylor, Duke, they're not in the same conference. Obviously, like they're not going to be matching up. So it was just cool to see Duke play, and I think he kind of caught an alley oop pass that was pretty cool, and just let his emotion out. And I can clearly see he's been kind of. I think he'll probably win. Oh, don't do they do player of the tournament, right? Yeah,
I think
do
so.
they not?
Or
I
if
think they.
not, I don't. Maybe honest, I'm not too sure. I know they do like a team, like an all tournament team. I think.
Okay, he's gonna
Let me
make
check.
that. He's gonna make that because I just I know watching him, bro. I'm like, this is an NBA player. Like he playing against kids, low key. I think he had 19 and 6 this game against Baylor, and they ended up beating Baylor pretty handedly. So I'm excited to see his matchup with Caleb Love. Um, I
Oh,
think
bro,
Caleb
Caleb
Love's been
Love
in
is a
college.
bucket, bro. Shout out Carolina.
Oh, bro, but he's been in college forever.
Forever,
Like he
yeah.
needs
He is like
to go to the
23.
NBA.
Yeah, I think he dropped like 29 last night though. He was balling, but I mean, you do
Oh, he
kind of
was he was hooping. No, 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 no,
you
no.
but honestly, like he should be doing that though. Not
Yeah,
20,
yeah.
maybe not 30, but like he should be putting up those type of
He
performances.
should be cooking. He
Yeah.
should be cooking for sure. I was gonna also last thing I was gonna say before you get into it, transfer portal, man. Like what?
Mm.
What? Kids just
Yeah.
get to they just get to oh, I'm done. Oh, we
Mhm.
lost. I'm out of here.
Right. Yeah, what do you think about
I
that, bro?
was,
Cuz that's a
yeah,
fairly new thing.
yeah. That did not happen when we were kids. Like when Trey Burke lost, like he just cried and walked off. There's no Twitter fingers, whatever, talking about yeah, I'm going to transfer here, blah blah blah. I think it sucks, bro. I don't know if you got to see what I think it was what Hurley said, but he was like, he was telling Baylor, he's like, I hope they don't do this bullshit to y'all. Like I hope
Yeah.
they don't. I'm not gonna lie, like that's what makes cats want to leave, bro. Cause it's all like sore losers and all that bullshit, and it's like at the end of the day, people are getting paid from it now. So I understand it's a business, bro. But in my opinion, I think it's hurt. When you ask me like, what do I think about it? I think it's hurt the game a little bit. I think
Mhm.
it takes away from just going out there and hooping. Like seriously, bro. I remember when it's funny. I think it was against Purdue, and it was with UConn. This is like a mind. I was just talking about the UConn's head coach. This is Kemba Walker. Remember his crossover, bro? Step back, game winner. Like
Yeah.
all those cats on Purdue, they can't transfer. If you're a freshman, you're gonna be back next year most likely. Like you can't
Mhm.
just hit Twitter and be like, all right,
I'm hitting the
I'm
transfer portal now.
hitting the portal, like screw this team, whatever. So I don't know, man. I think it's put guys on islands, and coaches on islands, but it's interesting, man. It's an interesting dynamic. I think Caleb Love took advantage of that, so that's why I brought it up. Is like
Mhm.
he did play for North Carolina. In my opinion, like I think he should go to the NBA draft after this. I know the guard class is loaded, but even if he's a second round pick, it really doesn't matter in today's NBA. So I think he'll be fine. But yeah, the transfer portal is dangerous, bro. Like I don't know what
Mhm.
to say. Like I feel like it's something that people can kind of like take advantage of. Like I don't know if people are using it right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I understand if it's like you're on a small team and you cooked and obviously your
Yeah, you want to go to
opportunities
D1.
you're right, you want to go to like a Power 5
Sorry, a high
conference.
major. High
Yeah,
major. Yeah, yeah.
but like the people that are just like bouncing from, oh shit, I lost, I'm at UConn, now I'm going to go to Duke next season. Like that's, I don't really like that, but I mean it sucks, but it's a part of the game now. So it kind of has changed. Even like going into like with the football and shit like that, their whole perspective. Like there's some coaches that aren't using the transfer portal, and I mean we could see like a lot of these teams that are advancing are getting their players from the transfer portal. So there's you got to
Jeez
be able to
Louise.
use it. Obviously you're gonna probably, if you're one of these Dukes, Kentuckys of the world, you're gonna get 5-star prospects probably every
Yeah.
year. But like you do have to also take advantage of the transfer portal. These players that can contribute to your team may not be getting or like the shine that they deserve at a smaller school. So I understand that, but yeah, man, it sucks, but like we were saying, it's just kind of a part of the game now. So
Yeah, it's yeah. Like you're saying, I think when people see the transfer portal and its impact, you're kind of scared. You're like, "Oh my gosh, like we need that here." So like
mhm,
you try and get guys whatever. We didn't bring this up while we were talking about it, but I think it's just about recruiting too. Like who are you recruiting? I know for example like Robert Wright for example, he was on Mount Verde. Like he probably not going to the NBA this year, but he's going to probably be back at Baylor.
mhm.
He's probably not going to transfer. Baylor just lost. Like VJ's going to the NBA. He probably now knows he's going to have the keys.
Yeah, he's gonna be that guy.
Yeah, like I'm going to stay my ass here. It doesn't
Mhm,
really make sense to be like, oh, let me go transfer. So I think sometimes just guys have their head on too big, but at the same time, like you're saying, if you're at a mid major, you want to go to a high major D1, that makes sense. Or if you want to go to the league, that makes sense. Like I get it, but
mhm,
yeah, it makes these tournaments like this tough because for guys that are freshmen, they still can decide. Like theoretically, you could play in a tournament for 4 years with four different teams.
mhm. Yeah,
Like that's crazy.
that is crazy, bro.
You're like,
Fucking
yeah, I'm out. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
out.
yeah, that's
Yeah, I'm
crazy.
out. But it's kind of cool, but it's all right.
Bet. So going into the other side of the bracket, this is the South region. We got
Mm-hmm.
Auburn versus Michigan, and we have Ole Miss versus Michigan State.
Who you got in Ole Miss and Michigan State? I got
Ooh.
Michigan State.
I was about to say, I'm not gonna lie, Ole Miss has been hooping, bro. They're looking decent. Obviously, we lost against them in the first round, and they just beat Iowa State, who was a pretty good team. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
my
Like,
dog Max Smith played for Ole Miss, bro. Shout out Max.
mm, yeah, but I don't know. I'll probably take that underdog. I feel like there's probably gonna be another upset in this tournament. Obviously Michigan State's the second seed in the region, but I think Ole Miss is just catching fire at the right time, and that's all you need to do in the tournament, bro. If you you,
Jeez.
you made it this far, and the spread's only 2.5, so that's gonna be a really close game.
You think that one last question? You think the finals should be a 3 game series?
Oh, nah,
Best of three.
nah. I was about to say I like that it is one game. I think that's what makes the tournament so like beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you could have that Cinderella story.
Hey, ask Marcus Page, man. I feel like
Man,
you're an like you know this pain.
I
You
know
could
that
ask
pain.
him. He hit the shot. Like if it was a 3 game series, it's all good.
Be a different story. Yeah.
But his life is forever different because of that. Same with Gordon Hayward, bro. Like
Yeah. Back to back years. Crazy.
yeah, like Gordon Hayward was that close. But
Man, I wish they would have
I
won
guess
that one because that
that
was
is
against
cool.
Duke.
That is yeah. But like you're saying, I think it's cool. Like that's just what it is.
Right.
Like I don't know how to that's not in the NBA. That's what I was gonna say. Like when the so I think about it when the Warriors were up 3-1. What's cool about that is like there's still a chance because it is a series, right? So you're like, okay, if we go out here and we win whatever, we go out here, we win game 5, cool. We'll get a game 6. We go out here, we win game 6. Yeah, like
Now we back
now,
in this.
now,
Yeah.
now it's the like Final Four, whatever the NCAA Men's Championship. Like it's just one game, so
Mhm.
anything can happen because anybody gets hot, whatever. Like Marcus Page doesn't hit that shot, whatever. UConn, I forget the dude who hit the buzzer beater, but
Chris
it's
Jenkins.
yep, Chris Jenkins. Like his life is completely 180 different from another man. So I think that's cool. And I think it's something the NBA is lacking today because we're not in the playoff format and we're not in a serious level of basketball to the point where we're locked in on just like, oh my gosh, it's game 6. Like
Mhm.
Lakers could go home today, last game of the season. You're gonna see Luca 45 minutes.
Yep. You sure are.
So yeah. Other than that, man, but yeah, I think the Sweet 16. If you guys get a chance to watch it, we brought it up on the last pod, but watch some hoops, man. Watch some NCAA hoops. I think a lot of these teams are solid. A lot of good prospects.
Yeah, we have one more region. We have the West. So this one is going to
Yep.
be Florida versus Maryland, and then Tech versus Arkansas. What would you think?
Mm.
I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie. I think I have an upset, bro.
oh yeah, where?
Another one. I think Arkansas is gonna give Texas Tech a
I
little
was gonna
run for
say
their
that
money.
too. I was gonna say Arkansas and Maryland. That's who I'm going with.
Oh, you're going straight underdogs.
Great underdogs, both. I was gonna
Okay.
say I'm feeling like you said, Maryland's kind of on. They're riding high, which can be a little sketch. I think
Yeah.
sometimes you come in with you got to be even keeled. You shouldn't be like, oh, we're here. Like Sweet 16 ain't nothing, but I think these guys they can get to the Elite Eight just based off their play and then the camaraderie they got. I think they're one of my like. I'm like Maryland's kind of
They're cold,
Maryland.
bro.
They're kind of cold. I like the Terrapins. I like their mascot too. That's kind of cold.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
like, shit, I rock with them. And then obviously Arkansas, bro. They've been a solid team all year.
Mhm.
Um, they've gotten a lot better at basketball since I've grown into an adult. I remember when I was younger, they were like pretty good, but I feel like they've been getting a lot higher recruits. So these
Shout,
guys are
shout
starting to
out
show
Coach
out.
Cal, bro.
Yeah, and Coach Cal, obviously they finessed Mr. Kentucky. So
Mhm. Yeah, that I think that's one of my main reasons why I think they're gonna do an upset. I think he's not really like X's and O's type of coach, but he's just one of those coaches that is able to like motivate his players and be like
yeah, yeah,
and like obviously for everyone that doesn't know, Coach Cal coached at Kentucky, and he was the one that was getting all the NBA players pretty much in the league that went to Kentucky, and he's able to get these high 5-star recruits, and the pieces that he has on the team, they're pretty good, bro. The way that they were playing defense on, I mean, they went against Drake, of course, but I mean, it's who you played in the tournament, but they were kind of locking them down towards like the end of the game, and I was very impressed with it. They were like forcing the way that they play is like they're forcing people to make mistakes. They're pressuring
yeah, yeah.
them. They're get like even when people get to the rim, they're blocking shots and stuff. But they have I think they have Kevin Knox's brother on that team.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was hooping. They have players, bro, and Boogie, of course. So, they got a little something
yeah,
cooking. I think they could go on a little Cinderella, and it'd be dope. I'm not like the biggest Coach Cal fan, but like I respect what he's done for the game, and I think it's dope seeing that him go from Kentucky where he made it into a powerhouse. I mean, they were already a powerhouse, but kept that lineage going. And he's, his the doubts of him going to Arkansas, not really, people, they started off slow, and then obviously they're a 10 seed, so they were able to make the tournament. But I mean, that kind of just goes back to what I was saying, bro. Whenever you make the tournament, that's all that really counts. So it's a brand new
yeah,
season
yeah.
from this point on, and the way that they've been playing, I like them. But obviously, Tech is a great team. I'm just going with my gut feeling on that one. Have a little upset brewing in there.
I like that. I like that. I think that was a strong analysis. I think Arkansas, to be fair, is definitely the better team. But also having Coach K too is like I didn't even think about that. Just in terms of recruiting, and then bro, his experience too. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's been around a lot of I would say Hall of Famers in my opinion. Even if they were still
100%.
in college, like they're they're going to the NBA Hall of Fame. So
Mm-hmm.
he has coached a lot of great NBA basketball players. But hey, man, you got to start somewhere. Hopefully, all these kids are trying to make it to the league, but they got to start somewhere in the league. And it's on the rookies. So I think we should hop into this all rookie second team that we got pulled up. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to see your thoughts and kind of what I had come up with a little bit, and then if you had anybody different, because maybe it's different. This is where it gets iffy because I think there's a lot of people could either be on first team or second team. It kind of really is just going to depend. I think this year's rookie class is super in the mix. It's not really one, besides obviously Stephon Castle, who's going to win the rookie of the year.
Right.
Besides that guy, there's not really one clear person who's like gonna make well, in research say and SAR, I would say. Like
Hmm.
those three players, outside of them, anybody, there's like seven spots that are kind of up for debate. So, I wanted to hear your thoughts on kind of what we were gonna start with, but I think I'm gonna hop right into it, and I think
Yeah.
this is an interesting, guy to start off with, and I love his game. I know you kind of do too, but it's Bud Carrington.
Mm.
It's Bud Carrington.
Yes,
He's
sir.
averaging 9 points, giving you a couple boards and a couple assists. He's also played, if I'm not mistaken, 70 games. He's been healthy all year, so that's also really important as well. And he's also started. But the reason I like his game is because he's a smooth player. He can knock down a three. He can defend well. He's also somebody that I feel like the Wizards took, a chance on, and they've allowed him to develop into this better version of a player. He's only shooting 40% from the field, so he's still learning how to get a better shot selection. But playing on the Wizards, I feel like it's not. You got to give guys a lot of credit for playing there because it's difficult. That franchise is not known for winning, and so for him to be asked to come in and develop as one of their leading players and that, alongside Koulibaly and Sarr, I think he's done a really good job, and I think the assist department is where I'm most excited about. I think 4 5 assists to me. If he goes 36 minutes, that looks like 10.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool. I think that's another thing that the Wizards are also looking at as well in their analytics. But I think you've seen him too. You've talked about him on this podcast. There's been times where he's gone off,
Hmm.
15, 16 points. He's done a lovely job finding a way to get into the paint, be effective. He's still learning, his jumper and be more efficient from three. But whenever he gets his 3 point shot to 40%, I think it's going to be something scary. So I wanted to start it off with Bud, bro.
Yeah.
I think they're, if I'm not mistaken, CJ, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They're also positionless as well.
I believe so, but let me double check.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter if all guards are cooking in the rookie class next year. I think like they would all still be on the first team. But I want to
Right.
check to make sure. I want to check to make sure. But for people who don't know, Bud Carrington's a 6'4" guard. So
Hmm.
if it's not positionless, then he would go in that second team guard spot for me, obviously first. Um, and then the second guard spot that I had on my second team, if it's not positionless, Isaiah Collier. I mean, we've talked about him at length recently, right? Because you've been really surprised with his assist to turnover ratio, but I think for me, what I'm most surprised about is his defense. I don't know if the Jazz were expecting him to come in and also be a decent defender. He's averaging 8 points a game, but he's also giving you those 6 7 assists, which is pretty. That's damn near a double double. He's been playing a ton more minutes recently too. So I think when you put him next to Colin Sexton, Keontae George, you get a mixture of feisty guards who want to play good defense and they want to scrap. They want to scrap. They're gonna
Hmm.
get buckets. They're gonna get buckets the hard way. They're gonna shoot threes. They're gonna be pretty efficient on the offensive side, and then on the defensive side, they're gonna give you a lot of energy and effort. He's also played 64 games, so he's been pretty reliable for Will Hardy, and I feel like he's gained a lot of trust and belief from his coach. I think at the beginning of the season he wasn't really playing a ton, and as the season's gone on, he's gotten a lot more run. So I feel like obviously the Jazz are again, a lot of these players again they're gonna come from the bad teams because these are the best guys that were in the NBA for the rookies. So you're gonna hear the Jazz, the Wizards, the Bulls, like you're gonna hear some pretty bad teams, and I think that makes it tough for these guys to really develop and like move forward. But I feel like the Jazz are missing that one piece, and it could be Cooper Flag to really bring like their entire team together. And I feel like Isaiah Collier is a great piece to have. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? He's 6'3". He's kind of a stockier guard. He's kind of like a smaller guy, but his passing ability. I think he had a crazy assist to turnover ratio run where he had like 50 straight assists, like no TOs. So I
Yeah.
think he's clearly studying certain players that he likes. I think he studied Trey and Halliburton and the way that they pass, and he's trying to be effective in that way. And for those that don't know, USC, alum who's pretty known as a scorer in college, but I think that's going to come on later. I think he's trying to work on other parts of his game. So it's really cool to see he's shooting about 42% as well. Still learning the shot selection, but that's my second guard spot, bro. I feel like we got to show love to him because I don't think we really had him on our radar earlier this year, but he's clearly played himself into that mix. And like I said, 64 games, he's going to hit the games limit. Harrington's already at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, those
Yeah.
two guys are. I think I'm right. I think they're gonna go with Carrington and Collier for the guard spots for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
It is positionless as well.
okay, cool.
But I
But
agree with those two picks. Yeah, Collier's been playing incredible. I think we brought him up in a previous pod, and the fact that he was averaging like, I think he was averaging like damn near like 9 assists a game at one
fine,
point for a
yeah, it was
stretch.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it was like post All Star break or something.
yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, definitely didn't expect him to. I'm not gonna lie. So, but I really wasn't
it's the
tapped
minutes
in.
too.
Yeah.
Like I brought it up with Will Hardy. He's gained the trust. Like go out there and play 30. Yeah, he'll
Mm-hmm.
get 9 or 10 assists. Like I think that was the thing with Bronny too. It's like the per 36. If you go out and play these guys 30 minutes, you're gonna get 15, 5, and whatever. Like a
Mm-hmm.
normal NBA player, they're just playing 20 minutes because they're rookie.
Yeah.
So I think
No.
to your point, so when Collier plays 30 minutes or 28 minutes, he can actually give you 7, 8 assists with 12 points or whatever. Damn
Mm-hmm.
near double double
Yeah.
at his size too. So it's I think he's solid. Like I think he's gonna be on that list for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Man, next guy, who do I want to start with? I think we got to talk about Matas Buzelis, right?
Okay. Okay.
I was thinking in my head, man, like obviously he was doing really well against the Lakers. He had this really nice move on Luka. It was a behind the back, and it was a stuff. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was nice. You might have seen that clip, but
I
I
did.
was watching it live, and I was like, man, he's been amazing this year. For those who don't know, to me, he reminds me of like this is gonna be a name. You're gonna get lit for this one, Andre Karolinko. Just
Wow.
the way that he plays, for those that don't know, AK-47 was a demon.
Mm-hmm.
Like
He's a dog, bro.
he would dunk on people, man. Passing lanes. Like he was. Yeah, that's another player too. Where if you looked at him, you wouldn't really think he's somebody. He's somebody,
He's somebody.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But that's a good comp in my opinion. Just long, lanky, super athletic. And again, bro, we weren't really talking about him earlier, but we've been bringing him up on this pod more and more, and I think that speaks to, again, him getting more run. Uh, it's tough because I just brought it up, but the rookies, when you start off, you kind of have to prove this isn't anything, any job, anywhere. You have to prove that you're valuable. That you can extend the trust. Missed a few days of work, like whatever. Like you're actually there to seriously be a part of the organization. And Matas Buzelis seems fully bought in. Like today,
Mm-hmm.
if you watch him, probably more than anybody on this list, he just seems like he believes in himself more and more. He was also in the G League, so he's been playing a lot both ways. I think he's shooting 45% from the field. Shot selection for him isn't really an issue. He likes to get to the rim and the paint, and he likes to stuff. He likes to try to dunk on you, man. So I
Mm-hmm.
like that. He has that dog in him, averaging 8 points, bro, a couple rebounds. But for me, like I said, I think when I bring up the Karolinko comparison, it's the defense, bro. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's somebody who could, maybe not lock down your superstar, but he's a good two. He's a good piece to have on the defensive end. He's not a zero there, and I think that's kind of what intrigues the Bulls more than anything. But I think his offensive game looks super polished. He's super athletic, and yeah, every single day, man, I feel like he gets better and better. That's all you can ask for. Like every single game I watch him, I'm like, he's getting better for sure. He's getting more comfortable, and that's what
That's
matters. I'm not sure how many games he started this year, but he has played 69 games. So
mm-hmm.
I think he's only started like 20. It's not. It's less than anybody else on this list.
Mm-hmm.
I think Khalil Ware might have more starts now than Buzelis, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's just interesting because
Yeah.
I hope that they can give him a little bit longer of a leash. I don't really know why Billy Donovan doesn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Neither do I, honestly. Yeah. The
Yeah.
that was the only one that I was kind of like a little
Eh.
iffy about, but I would replace him with Ease Missy.
You don't think Misi's gonna be on the first team?
I don't know if it's positionless.
Ooh, maybe he's on the second team. Yeah, maybe. I was
Yeah,
thinking
but
about putting. Maybe
I
not.
think I
Maybe
think I
not.
th- I think he might be on the second team, bro. I think the first team is probably
They're
a little.
stacked. They're stacked.
Yeah, they're a
Yeah, they're
little.
stacked.
They're a little
Like
solidified in my
what?
eyes.
No. Oh, yeah. Because there's. Okay, I'm thinking about it. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I don't want to say so because we'll
yeah.
obviously
You're
do the
not gonna
next
say
step.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think he's probably second team.
Interesting. Yeah, they're gonna probably give it to Eves Misi. I think Misi's cooled off a lot, but
Yeah, I
I
think
think he was.
he's been just consistent all season though. Like he's almost averaging a
Yeah,
double
yeah,
double,
yeah,
and he's
yeah,
actually been playing. I think he's played 66 games, and he started 60.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
he's had to start too because the Pelicans don't have any bodies.
mhm.
So I see that for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's averaging 9 and 8 right now.
solid.
I, I,
What's
I, I,
is he what's his percentages look like? Are they high
they're
too? Is it if that's the case, then I agree.
mm, he's shooting
Like
like
probably like
his
60%.
54. So I
That's
mean,
good, bro. Yeah,
yeah, I
he's
would
gonna
say
make it.
yeah, I would say
He's
as
gonna
a
make
rookie, yeah,
No, like he's like a. I was trying to see like he's more of a forward type, but that's like a. He's not shooting 40% on layups,
no,
like you're saying. He's getting like those offensive rebounds and stuff like that. I think he'll
yeah,
probably make it over him. Then
yeah, yeah, and then obviously I think that the first team is probably already locked in my eyes.
interesting. Yeah, I think so too. I think the rookies it was a lot easier because none of them got hurt, which is
Right.
weird, but it's all good. I think I didn't have. I mean, I didn't talk about Edie, but I don't know. I think I was thinking about putting him on the second team, but I'm like, he's
Mm,
he's gonna be
yeah, I think he's gonna be first.
yep. But
Yeah,
that's the only
but
dude that I was
yeah,
like sketchy about.
I was gonna
So
say
I'm
yeah
not gonna
that
say
that
anymore.
that was the only one. I mean, Buzelis has been doing a lot better, and I think if he can keep this going for the rest of the season,
You know
he
what
could
I think?
potentially take it. But
No, I don't. I think Buzelis might make it.
you think so?
It might be one of these next two that replaces like like you're saying instead of Buzelis because I
Mm,
think they're gonna give it to Matas.
yeah,
I think post All Star break, bro. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have his splits immediately. He's averaging 12. Yeah, no, they're gonna give it to him. I think so. He's
yeah.
averaging 13 points post All Star break. Um, yeah, 45% from the field. Like, yeah, I think he'll still make it, but I think he'll probably replace Klingon or what or
Mm,
where who we're gonna
okay,
talk about.
got
I
you.
don't know. So, because I think Misi's gonna be on there, but I don't know if he's gonna replace Buzelis. He might
Got you.
replace like one
Some.
of these two.
Mm,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know who to start with next. They're both bigs. Obviously, you guys know Donovan Clean has like been, I would say, pretty solid all year, and Chloe Ware is kind of newer. So
Right.
that's why I'm bringing up when we were talking about it between like amongst us choose. Like I feel like they might move Ware off out of
Hmm.
anybody. But Donovan Klinger I had on the list because he's really kind of a defensive menace, and in my opinion, I think he's leading rookies in rebounding. So him and Eves Misi are like pretty close. And obviously Donovan Kling is way bigger than Yves Misi, so it's not like a big deal. He's literally like 7'2", but I think
Right.
him being a defensive menace, he also is averaging like he's getting his blocks, but I feel like he's also been forced to play early, and his game has a ton of spaces in it that he needs to develop, obviously, but he's been solid for them, and he's had games where I think he had a 17 rebound game. Like he's had a couple of these crazy games already where I'm like, all right, like clearly they're cooking up something in Portland, and I think Scoot's been a lot better this year too. So I feel like there is a reason why they took Klingon, winner at UConn, obviously somebody who he's won before, and that can translate to the NBA. And I honestly was gonna bring up something about him too, and this isn't really like an on the court thing, but off the court, bro, he's very like chill, and I like that. He's not
Mm-hmm.
really like he's always saying like, "Oh, I just want to improve and get better." Like he's never like talking like too highly of himself, and I really like appreciate that as somebody who
Mm-hmm.
like tries to do that myself because he's always like, "Yeah, no, I just need to get better and like keep working and all that stuff." Like he never is like sucking his own deep basically. But
Right.
yeah, I like Klingon, man. He's had a pretty good year. I feel like the Blazers have needed his services in terms of his defensive ability and then his rebounding ability. It's pretty solid. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head how many rebounds he's averaging. I think it's like
Uh,
8.
yeah, like 7.5. Yeah, seven point
Yeah,
four.
yeah, solid. I know
Solid.
his
Yeah.
points aren't like amazing, but I think he's learning how to develop that offensive game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This next dude though, I think Khalil Ware is cold. He's probably one of the best players on this list in terms of like raw basketball, but he just didn't get a chance early enough, and I think that's kind of what's gonna hurt his case. But I would say he's probably like one of the most developed we have on this list in terms of like his game.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he's a great defensive player, but the thing that he can do better than Klingon can is like the threes. Like he can kind of shoot a little bit. So sometimes that helps. He's getting, bro, 9 points, bro. 7 boards right now. I
Yeah.
think post All Star break, he's also doing extremely well too. For you guys who may not know him, he plays on the Heat, and he's one of the main dudes on there for right now, bro. Like they're going to him. He's been playing a ton of run, and I think that's really helped him obviously become a better player this season. He's also played 53 games, I think, too. So I think he's gonna hit that games limit. He's probably gonna play out the rest of the year as long as he doesn't get hurt. He'll probably be in the conversation for the All Rookie second team. But now that I think about it, that boy Yves Misi coming in hot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if Chloe Ware is gonna get that because I think
Yeah.
Chloe Ware just started a little late.
Yeah.
Again, this is like a late bloomer. Even Donovan Clingan's been a little bit more consistent than Chloe Ware, but I think the Heat have given him more run, and that translates to better stats. Obviously, when you play guys a longer time, like I was talking about Collier, you get better results. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's kind of what's been happening with Chloe Ware. But post All Star break, bro, um, he's averaging 10 points with 10 boards, 9 points, 9 boards about.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
little
That's
mini double double.
Yeah, let's say he's been one of those that definitely seized the opportunity of what was going on in his team, because
He
he
knows
was
Bam is not a center.
yeah. So he's
He's
able
also
to
7 foot or whatever.
yeah yeah able to shoot threes, dunk on you, rebound. Yeah, he's solid.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I really like his game. I think that pick the Heat have done again, they're how do you like their coaching, their staff, they're the people that scout. Like I think the Heat have a really good franchise, but right now they're just struggling to the players obviously that are on the roster. They're not super star power like Dwayne Wade, LeBron James. I think the Heat have always kind of had a superstar too, mind you. And like I don't know if that's the case right now. Like they're still kind of searching for that next guy, and that's kind of, you know, Khalil Ware's obviously seizing that opportunity and he's filling that void as
Mm-hmm.
necessary
Yep.
for sure, bro.
Yes,
Like
sir.
I don't, I think he has a chance, but I don't know. Maybe it's Klingon they replaced, but I feel like it's one of those two dudes because Buzelis has been doing it, consistently
Mm-hmm.
too, and he was in that All Star thing.
Yeah, that it. Was he in the dunk contest?
Yeah, he was in the dunk contest.
Uh,
Yep. So we'll see, bro. And I think he was in. No, he was playing against. He was on
oh, he
that
was
team
the
too. Yeah,
like Rising
yeah. That's
Stars
what.
or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like with Stefan Castle.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like most of those dudes, like you said, we said Edie. I don't know if Misi was there, but
I don't think so either, actually.
that's why I had Buzelis on the list. Like that's why I meant like I just think the NBA is kind of giving him the. But I think Klingen or where, bro, it's sketchy. Like I think Misi's gonna get it because
Yeah.
he's won Rookie of the Week. Like I think if I'm not mistaken, not more like out of all the first team, out of all the second team players, Misi's won Rookie of the Week the most out
Yes.
of the second team.
Mm-hmm.
Like not obviously not
Not the
the
yeah
top dogs, but
yeah
yeah.
yeah not for sure.
Like out of
Yeah.
the list we have, I think Yves Misi's been the most. So I see that. I think the NBA would pick him. I think he's gonna replace probably Ware.
Probably where. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The more we're
Oh,
talking
that's
about it,
sad because he's scooping.
he is.
Yeah, but that's my list. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's solid, bro. That's a solid list.
For sure.
Was there
Do you have anything
anything
else? Oh,
else?
I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask
Nah,
you because you
nah,
always
bro.
ask me. I'm like, sheesh.
Nah, bro.
Nah, man. I think Lake Show. I gotta get back to it. You know, we've been chopping it up. I'm sure they're deep into the game a little bit now. Um, Other than that, though, bro, I hope we get down to this playoff soon, man, and we can wrap this up. I think next episode we're gonna talk about the first team, and you guys will hear the finishing of this conversation. But yeah, man, it's been another good episode for sure, another banger.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. I don't have anything else to say. Just watch basketball, man. March Madness, end of the season, playoffs is about to start. So that's all I got to say, man. Enjoy these hoops
Yeah,
because they're high level basketball, man. It's always the best to watch.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Like the Sweet 16 is probably on the top of my to do list, honestly. Like I want to watch the Lakers, but I want to watch them in the playoffs. Like I'm
mhm.
trying to see Duke.
Right, bro. But yeah, man. If y'all liked and enjoyed this episode, Three Man Weave, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time, man. Peace. Three man, three man, three
Three,
man.
three man, three man.